March you work. So in January, you will get your 70% pay. In February, you will get your, February का पे तुमको 70% पे मिलेगा, मार्च का मिलेगा 70% पे. तो रेस्ट ऑफ द 30% पे जो रह गया है वो मार्च के अप्रैल में मिलेगा तुमको, based on the 3 months performance. So 30% of the first month, 30% of the second month, 30% of the third month together you will get in your third month, fourth month, अप्रैल में मिलेगा. अभी समझ में आ रहा है? Okay, so companies like Wipro and all, they do like that, right? So variable pay package hota hai, where and then of course based on your performance you'll get bonus, you'll get your extra incentives.
Can you please repeat variable pay again?
Sorry, come again.
Ma'am, can you please repeat it? Variable pay.
Variable pay. So let's say out of your 1 lakh payment जो तुमको देना चाहिए कंपनी में, वो 70% is fixed pay, 30% is varies. Varies means based on your performance it is. तो every month नहीं देंगे वो, 3 months of performance देख के third month में, fourth month में देंगे.
Means it should be decrease.
No, it will not decrease. It could decrease depending on your performance. So वो लोग बोलते कि 1 lakh है ना, उसमें से 70% is fixed pay, 30% varies about your performance. So if your performance is good, we will pay you a certain amount. It can decrease also, it can increase also. So it varies upon the performance that you have in the company. The company has उनके हाथ में है कि how much they will pay you based on your performance. Okay, now benefits, there are several benefits that are there, like bonus, gain sharing, incentives are there. Then benefits like even your internet connection and remuneration is a benefit that they might give you, right? So some benefits that you give to employees, leadership opportunities, career development opportunities, then well-being like vaccination drives for company employees. Other well-being can be yoga during office hours, after office hours, some exercise, some sports. Okay, all this well-being, and then arranging doctors talk and female gynecologists coming on to the office premise. All this is well-being, right? So it's a complete package. So your base pay, increase in your base pay, like you will learn in compensation, your base pay will have basic salary, then dearness allowance, house allowance, and all those things, right? So even that is a definite factor for pulling and retaining employees. And employee development, of course, through training and all that. So total rewards, the employee is not just about variable pay and base pay here. It is all about other benefits and recognition and HR policies that will really help people understand that this is a good fit for them and they can stay with your company for longer time. Okay, so which of these areas you think you have a more control on as an HR manager? You will have more control on which of the things here, and any of the things that you can talk about as an HR.
Can you repeat the question once again?
As an HR manager, you can have control over which of the areas of total reward you think you can have more control over. Which of the areas you think you will have more control?
In benefits.
In benefits, why do you think you will have more control as an HR manager?
Ma'am, we can't say that control, but as an HR, we can analyze that for better understanding, for encouraging the employees, what we can provide better to our employees for
okay, so maybe what are the example of benefits that you can think of?
I mean, benefits, we can say that if a as an HR, we are providing our employees uh, Swiggy or Zomato coupons
Yeah, that is a
for
good
them.
benefit.
That is a
Okay,
benefit. Or
right.
providing them Ola, Uber, cab coupons for traveling allowance.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, this can be good. The medical insurance for them is a benefit, right? And
definitely,
medical
ma'am.
insurance for the entire family is a benefit for them. And a lot of people will not shift jobs. See, if one job gives them medical insurance, once they leave the company, that insurance goes away. So if you join another job, you want to make sure वहां से भी medical insurance मिलता है. अगर नहीं मिलता है, तो I will not leave my first job because I've already have got insurance of for my entire family in my first job, right? So even that is a criteria people use, right? So benefits, yeah. uh, uh, maybe some of these like variable pay, base pay, these you may not have complete control over because the business directors and executives will also have a lot of say in that, right? But more opportunities for well-being, more opportunities with benefits, recognition, employee development, and meaningful work. These are the four areas that you as a HR manager can really get going and make it more meaningful for the organization, right? So this is one theory, total rewards model by Towers Perrin. You can understand what is more individual and what is more communal kind of thing. So pay, reward, base pay, contribution pay, shares, and all these are more of individual and more transactional in nature. That means people, what can be a little more transactional and relational? Which any idea that you may have about transactional and relational things? Do you know what does it mean? Okay, let's say you have a sibling, you have brothers and sisters. Okay, now every time right now you are unmarried, so it's fine. But when after marriage, let's say your brothers and sisters come home, right? So what can be part of your discussion? Sometimes some brothers and sisters or some husband wives only discuss about their आज क्या किया दिन में, how much I have spent, have you done this, have you given clothes to the laundry person, have you done this, have you done that, kind of things, right? And discuss a lot about money, buying, capital investment. So their talk becomes very transactional in nature. What I do and what you do in a just to run the home. Yeah, they're very transactional in nature, right? Versus if I discuss with my brother or sister or with my husband, what do you feel today? What have you done? Was your day nice today? Let's play a game together. Okay, all these are relational things. Okay, very simple example. Organization के example से पहले, very simple example, right? Transactional is what you've done, what I have done to run this home, right? But the discussion of relational nature is how do you feel? Let's go out for a walk, and then during walk you discuss your feelings and issues with your brother, sister, parents, or your this thing. That is a relational thing, right? And then similarly in organization, more relational things are workplace learning. Okay, so instead of giving every time online opportunity to learn, if you give them more classroom and group discussion kind of opportunity in for the employers, it becomes very interactive, and people become you can develop relationships there, right? So what opportunities do you give your employees, right? So training, performance management, career development, developing a platform for raising voice, employee voice, right? All these, job design also, like the other day we did job enlargement and enrichment kind of thing. All these are more relational in terms where you're asking, they are displaying feelings, they're interacting with others, are more relational, right? So you have to balance each of these components. Okay, so why do you think you have to balance being transactional with relational components? Do you think there's a need to balance transactional with relational? So would you connect with a friend who only talks about money, who only talks about job, who only talks about अरे लॉन्ड्री में ये कपड़ा दिया क्या, फ्रिज में ये रखा क्या, रात को ये किया क्या, versus someone who's talking about feelings, doing activities together, working together? Yes, which of the two you prefer? Nobody knows.
I'm having both. We will of transactional and relational, both balance should be maintained. So if a person will only be connect according to the transaction, it will be more professional. So
yeah, and maybe the employees in an organization context, the employees who are only dependent on pay, salary, and all that, will switch jobs. It is not a good retention strategy. Okay, you can change the salary of that person, but salary is not always the criteria to retain people. There are other ways of retaining people, right? So you must balance this, and that's why we are doing this. Okay. Right. Now let's go on to our next section, that is sourcing, which I wanted to start in this particular case. Okay, so someone please read this. Girls. Shreya, are you there? Shreya? Okay, so someone else, maybe Himadri, are you there? Shweta? So Shweta, please read this. What is there? We are reading a case to discuss sourcing of in recruitment. Yes, you can't read, Shweta?
Yes, ma'am.
Please read them.
Azure Vision B will be a respected global entrepreneur through the power of positive action. Azure Mission. We are committed.
Sorry, not from there. From here, Vodafone SR is a joint venture from there.
Okay, ma'am. Vodafone Azure is a joint venture of Azure Communication Holdings Ltd. It is India's largest cellular service company with over 100 million telecom subscribers in India and Kenya. It has a majority stake in the telecom assets of the Dhabi Group in Uganda and the Republic of Congo. The mobile store has its CEO as Mr. Srikanth Gokhale with the Azure Group venture. It is the first country-wide chain of telecom retail outlet. It offers a world-class shopping environment with a state-of-the-art technology. It currently runs 1,300 outlets branded the mobile store and has the vision to have over 2,500 outlets across 650 cities in next 2 years. It is a one-stop mobile solution shop that provides multi-brand handsets, accessories, connections, repairs, VAS, etc. Its outlets are in three formats: large 1,000 to 1,500 square feet, medium 800 to 1,000 square feet, and corner 150 to 200 square feet, with a smaller formats located primarily in large malls. It offers the widest and most comprehensive range of mobile phones with special offers from all the key brands available across the globe. It, it has undertaken an extensive training program to equip all its employees with in-depth knowledge of the products and brands available at the store, thereby allowing them to provide the right kind of guidance to the customer. All major handset brands like Nokia, Ericsson, LG, Samsung, Motorola, Fly, Sagam, HP, iMate, Dopt, HTC, and BlackBerry are available at the store. It has also tied up with all leading operators like Airtel, Vodafone, BPL, Idea, MTNL, BSNL, and Reliance Tata Indicom. The HR department carries out the main functions of recruitment, selection, induction, performance, appraisal, compensation, management, and other work related to HR policies and grievances. The source of recruitment at the mobile store is explained in figure figure 1 as follows. The manpower recruitments are done city-wise with timelines for a store deployment and salary and designation to be offered. The different sourcing avenues include consultants, campus placements, referrals, portals, advertisements, and walk-ins.
Okay, fine. So we read this case. Can anyone tell me what is the sector?
Telecom.
Okay. So yes. So what about the mobile stores? What kind of services do they offer? How many mobile stores do they have?
1,300.
Yeah, 1,300 over 2,500 outlets across 650 cities in. Okay, so that is the vision. But right now they have 1,300 outlets across, right? And their storerooms, there's mobile stores or shops could be providing all these, right? So okay, so right. So what do you think about this case? I mean, what kind of services do they offer? What kind of services do they offer? Do you need to understand the business and the service before even looking at recruitment process? Yes. Okay, so look at this paragraph here. This is a very, very important paragraph, right? So, wherein they have, this provide products related to all mobile brands under one roof, one stop shop for all mobile brands and services, telecom service like Airtel, Vodafone, BPL, Idea, Tata Indicom, and all of that, right? So, now we are going to look at their recruitment and selection process, right? So, here it is. Okay. So, can someone, looking at this, can someone explain this? Maybe Dipanshu can do a great job of explaining this. Yes, Dipanshu, are you here? Anybody else wants to explain this recruitment process chart? Okay, Ankan, go ahead. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that means you will look at the first requirement you're saying. Okay, go ahead. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 Which portals, job portals are available? No, but we are not talking about Airtel portal, right? So, see, yeah, this is about mobile store. So each store will have mobiles coming from different companies. It's not just about one single company, right? It offers products from different mobile companies, right? Nokia product and other Nokia. Yeah. Look at the products: Samsung, Motorola, iMate, Dopod, HTC, BlackBerry. All of them are available in their store. All major handset brands, right? These are handset brands. And what about leading telecom operators like Airtel, Vodafone, and all that? So you get SIM cards of all these available there, and customers can come and buy that from their stores, mobile stores, right? We're talking about that. So since they have such mobile stores operating in different cities, like 1300 cities, you will first look at the requirement, and you will do a lot of analysis at this stage. Okay, so you will do a lot of analysis, as Ankan rightly said, that you will do a city wise breakup, right? So each city, how many mobile stores are there? What is the shopping, sales revenue of that particular city so far? And based on what other factor do you think you will assess the requirement?
Some language.
Language, yes.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
else? What else? From this information, can you see any other requirement? Gathering how, if let's say you have, so there are two questions now. Okay, so one is whether it is beneficial to have a decentralized recruitment team or a centralized recruitment team. What do you think? You should have a centralized recruitment team or a decentralized recruitment team? Okay. Okay. Now, what do you mean by work profile? I'm asking you about the entire recruitment team. Recruitment manager, hiring, sourcing, and everything. Your entire recruitment process. Should it be decentralized or centralized?
Ma'am, it could be depend on the place. Ma'am, if it is a big city, that time we can hire centralized team.
Okay.
And ma'am, if there is not so much high customers involvement, that time we can adjust with non centralized.
Any other opinion anybody else has? The entire recruitment team I'm talking about, not employees at a centralized recruitment team. So let's say, you know what, recruitment, who are part of the recruitment team? Who's part of the recruitment team?
HR.
HR, right? तो HR से ही बनता है recruitment team, but उसमें कौन से roles होते हैं? Which roles will you play?
Ma'am, onboarding.
Onboarding, yeah. You will work in onboarding.
Screening.
Then
Sourcing, interviewing, onboarding, client acquisition also.
okay, right? So talent acquisition, officer है, sourcing करेगा वो, onboarding करेगा, या फिर they'll also be screening and interviewing, all those things, right? So and they will be managing the entire recruitment process of sourcing to offer letter and then joining, right? The entire process, right? तो ये process decentralized होना चाहिए कि centralized होना चाहिए?
I think it should be decentralized.
Okay, so what are the benefits of having a decentralized recruitment team over a centralized recruitment team?
Ma'am, because we need different people in different areas. Like if we talk about India, so different parts have different language. So if our process will decentralize, so we can identify the need, what we need, and according to that, we can perform.
Okay, right. Yes. So who else has any other view? Okay. So what if we have a mixed or a hybrid approach? Can we have a hybrid approach? Okay. Yeah. Okay. So in that combination, which part of the recruitment process can be decentralized and which part could be centralized? Very good, Ankan. Go ahead. Which part of the recruitment process will you keep at the center office, and which part of the recruitment process can become decentralized? Okay, so yes, so maybe all senior positions hiring can be done at a centralized office. Very good approach. Yes, very good, Ankan. Okay, and which processes can be kept can become decentralized? So which process will help you understand which are the roles that are high profile or senior, more impactful and less impactful? What is the process that you will do to know this? You will do a job analysis or you will do a job evaluation to know this? You'll do a job analysis or a job evaluation to know which are the most important. Very good. Okay. So you will do a job evaluation to understand which are the roles that are more impactful, and those roles, senior position roles, which are more impactful, will be hired through a centralized process, whereas more salesperson roles that are more customer facing and at the lower levels can be still hired through a decentralized process. Very good. Okay, so that can be a good option, right? Yashu also is right in decentralizing it, but complete decentralization will have its own major advantages, disadvantages. To trade off those disadvantages, we can have a hybrid structure also, which Ankan is proposed here. Okay, so you can see the outlets have three formats: 1,000 to 1,500 square feet. These are big showrooms, medium formats, and very small showrooms as well, right? So this can have an effect on your requirement gathering. Okay, another so not only based on which kind of employees are being hired, you can break up your recruitment process of centralized and decentralized, having a hybrid structure. You can also break up the level or steps of recruitment. For example, requirement gathering can happen at a centralized process, right? Can someone tell me how that can happen? Can we have a requirement gathering at centralized level, central process? Can we have requirement gathering at central process as a centralized process? And then next steps can become decentralized. Okay, so maybe you can gather information from all the departments, saying that each department give us your requirement. Okay, and they will analyze at the central level to assess, okay, this is right, at these departments, these different cities and different mobile stores can hire these many people. Why do you think requirement at central process can be helpful? Can it be helpful? Can it trade off any disadvantages of decentralized level? Why should we have a requirement gathering at centralized level? What can go wrong if you allow requirement gathering at decentralized level completely? Complete decision making and powers to decentralized levels for hiring.
Misuse.
Yeah, what can be some of the issues, Suvir, if you want to note down?
Now, misuse and like biasness may happen.
Okay, what else?
As of now, I only have these two.
What issues and by this is again vague. Some of the issues that you can think of.
Ma'am, like if we have to recruit people, okay, it may happen that we are recruiting people known to us. We may not look into their qualification and skill.
Okay, so yeah, so minimum qualification, skill that is required, all of that can be decided at a centralized level. So this is what we have. This is the process that we should follow, and these are the requirements from the employee candidates, right? So candidate for screening and selection, this is what we need. Okay, this much qualification, this is the skill set, and this is the experience, which is decided at a central level, right? So candidate profile and employee profile related decisions can be taken there. Okay, but sourcing can happen at the decentralized level. Okay, yes, so that will reduce bias in hiring. So one department has less qualified employees, and one mobile store in another city will have more qualified employees. That will not happen. We might have some fluctuations, but overall we'll have similar level of quality of employees, right? So to maintain that, we can do that. Very good. So what else? What else can be central? Why do we need to centralize? Some requirement gathering. How many people are required? Okay, right. Yeah, so reference system is definitely allowed, but all employees cannot be hired through reference, right? You will need to look at other employees and assess the quality and then your requirement, and based on that you will hire, right? Okay, great. Yes, what else? Also, there can be bias issue, like one city is hiring 10 employees when there is only need for 6, right? So that requirement approval for how many people to hire can come from central office, and then actually sourcing and doing that recruitment can happen at a decentralized level. Otherwise, one mobile store will have 15 people, as against another mobile store of the same capacity will have only 10 people. Okay, so this kind of centralized decision making will really help in controlling the manpower at different locations and different cities. Okay, yes. Now, do you get an understanding of how much centralized and decentralized positioning can you do?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and the importance of it, of course. There are advantages, disadvantages to it, so we can trade off those as well, right? Okay, so walk-in is also one of the sourcing that they have talked about. Is walk-in suitable for? So in this case, is walk-in suitable as a sourcing?
Now for not so qualified or semi-skilled, it is suitable.
It is suitable, right? So for a retail sector like this, mobile store pay salesman jo kaam karte, walk-in is definitely suitable for them. But in a PSU structure, we saw public sector undertaking also, right? You remember Bhel ke liye dekha tha,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
compared it with Big Bazaar. So in Bhel, in PSUs, walk-ins, is it suitable? Does it happen so frequently?
No, ma'am. Then everybody will walk in.
We'll also walk in. I will also go walk in. Hire me as a HR specialist. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Right. So consultants, right? Right. Okay. So let's look at this now. So it is very, very important for you to identify whether you want to keep your recruitment process centralized, decentralized, okay? And then you also look at sourcing, okay? As you said, there are 2 positions that we looked at, right? Very senior level through job evaluation. You will rate which of the position is more impactful to the organization, and based on that, you will decide which part of the recruitment process or which kind of recruitment, which employees, which class of employees you want to keep, you want to do recruitment at central level for the mobile store chain that we talked about, and which of the things you can keep at a decentralized level, right? So you can have a hybrid structure. This we were talking about. Okay, so now recruitment is the process of finding and hiring suitable candidates from within internal or external of the organization, we know, to fill the positions, right? The process involves searching, sourcing, and selecting right candidates for the roles to the organization. We all know this, okay? And we've looked at the recruitment funnel, we looked at recruitment cycle, we looked at cycle time issues, we looked at different metrics. Okay, now, okay, so different sources of recruitment, every one of us know, internal and external. Okay, right. So in internal sources of recruitment, okay, okay, so okay, in internal sources of recruitment, you see this is a recruitment process for internal sources. Okay, can someone read this through? Maybe someone like Rahul Kumar Thakur, are you here? Sahil?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so read this flow chart of internal recruitment process.
Manager notifies the HR of vacancy, HR post job opening, HR receives application from interested employees, HR screens candidates, HR gives list of candidates to managers, manager interviews candidate, manager fills position.
Okay. So yeah, so it is almost similar to external recruitment process where you start you have a requisition form that manager will fill up, or HR post will declare a job opening, and there could be interested candidates who apply for it. For example, there are two different departments. Okay. In two different departments. So let's go back to our this thing. Okay, so let's say this data again that we're looking at, right? Average processing time wala. Okay, so let's say someone wants to move from ERP solutions department into data warehousing or some other department, right? So here in this particular database, can you tell me if their internal sources have been used or external sources have been used of recruitment?
Internal.
Internal and so external sources of recruitment, if that is mentioned here.
No, ma'am.
No, it is not mentioned. So can that happen that can it happen that telecom and media, the average joining time is 67 days for 175 employees, and testing services 244, the average joining time of people is 55 days. It's less for these many people. So can it happen that because we are using more internal recruitment here for testing services, and therefore the joining time was quicker?
Yes, maybe.
Yes, maybe we have not included that as a factor in discussion. Okay, so maybe telecom and media department has been testing services has been very easily we were able to achieve the date average join, because a lot of people really moved from data warehousing enterprise into testing services. There were more openings, internal openings, job posting, and therefore we had many people already there, and we could move them to testing services. Okay, and therefore we could achieve the average joining time. Okay, so even that you will have to look at different factors why your different departments cycle time is fluctuating or varying. And the least number, like 31 days, was required to hire 204 candidates in ERP solutions. You could have an internal source of recruitment, or maybe ERP specialists are available in abundance in the labor market. Fatafat milte hai. Lot of qualified people in ERP solutions, and which is actually the case, right? Whereas people in technology infrastructure services also fine, but maybe in telecom and media you don't find many people in the labor market, and therefore you take a lot of time in hiring. Okay, so two different factors you will have to consider here in achieving your cycle time besides your interview time is availability of candidates, whether they are internally available or even in the labor market outside. Colleges, how many graduates are really opting for ERP solutions courses, and how many are really going for telecom and media courses. So your labor market, your external labor market assessment of that will also help you come up with a source of recruitment. Are you understanding?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So great. Yeah. So your two components, definitely your internal sources of recruitment and your external sources of recruitment. You will have to look at your labor market also. And which division are you looking at? Let's say telecom and media. Definitely, the number of employees that you will get in the external labor market is much lesser than you get for ERP solutions. A lot of students these days are studying SAP, because there are a lot of jobs available. So you'll get a lot of SAP specialists out there, right? And therefore, availability of SAP specialists in the market is abundant for you, right? So you will have to also look at your external labor market, study your external labor market in relation to your company, and then decide your sources of recruitment. Is your number of candidates that you are requiring, can you hire freshers? Yes, fine. But for ERP solutions, can you hire freshers?
No, ma'am.
No. Then you have to study SAP, no? Yeah, very good. Okay. So internal recruitment process, the first step in creating a successful recruitment process is creating and using an internal recruitment policy. Why do you think internal recruitment process is more dependent on the policy? Recruitment policy?
No, because obviously that will form a guideline.
Okay, right. So movement of one person from one department into another department will definitely follow a guideline. नहीं तो managers ये from one department to another, in some departments it is easier to move between departments, employee, right? From telecom and media, yeah, so maybe from data warehousing, यहाँ पे वो जो example लिया हमने उसमें data warehousing से it's easier to move to testing services department, और टेस्टिंग सर्विसेज डिपार्टमेंट से easier है डेटा वेयर हाउसिंग में जाना, but it is not easy for telecom and media departments employees to move internally, rotate between different departments, right? And not only that, the manager also has to allow. So in some companies that I interviewed for my research, I found that some companies, especially product companies, it's mandatory for their employees to remain in one project for 2 years. Because project timeline hota hai na, you have to complete the project before you can go into another department to work, right? So it is mandatory for employees to remain in for 2 years in one project before they can be moved to other department, right? Why do you think that happens? And what can be some of the issues in moving employees from one department to another? What can be some of the issues in moving one employee from one department to another department?
Resistance on the part of the employee, because they are used to doing a certain kind of work and they have got accustomed to it. So doing a different job may force them to come out of their comfort zone or learn new skill, which may be like a bit frustrating for the employee.
Right, it is from the employee part also that they may not like to move, but yeah, so that's one obstacle that you can come through. And yeah, so what are the other obstacles? What are the other obstacles? Yeah, someone else.
On the part of organization, it may be expensive, because if the employee is not so qualified, if we are moving him to a department which whose knowledge is not there to the employee, then we will have to train him, and for that we will have to spend some money. So
okay, so right, so that tells you the importance of what? What do you need to do if you want to? Training. One. What else? While moving one employee from one department to another, it is very, very important for HR to take an interview. It is your role. Your role is very, very important. You have to take an interview of the prospective employee to see if he fits into the next role he's applying for. within
Yes,
the
ma'am.
organization, right? So HR interview is one more thing. So employee's role first, employee breaking his comfort zone, one. Second is HR interview, because you want to see the exact job job fit, right? Right fit into the next role. What else can be an obstacle? A manager, he should be able to relieve this employee to move in. So let's say that you find an employee who has a very high potential to move into research role, but the existing manager bolta hai ye to mere department ke liye kitna acha kaam kar raha hai, he's so particular, right? And he holds back the employee and doesn't send him to for his career growth to another department. टांग अड़ा के बैठा है. So what will happen? That person will not be able to move, right? So for all of this, what do you need? You need a recruitment policy. Okay, so in the policy, if it is mentioned after 2 years of working in one project or one role, you can opt for a job posting, internal rotation into another department. Managers can only obstruct or only have a say for the first 2.5 years, after which even if manager doesn't allow, the immediate supervisor doesn't allow, he can bypass that through HR interview process. Okay, so if you put something like that into the policy, it becomes more easy for people to follow, and there will be less obstacle, there will be less conflicts. Are you understanding?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So job posting should have clear guidelines, and those guidelines should be maintained in your recruitment policy. Okay, screening employees who apply for internal positions, internal applicants manager. The advantage of an internal recruitment is that an internal applicants manager and co-workers are available and accessible as references. Okay, that is a very good advantage, right? So the performance of this person has been good over a period of time, and therefore you can guarantee this person doing well in another role also. Okay, a company can interview internal applicants with the assistance of the current human resource department and company leaders. I told you this, right? The HR can conduct interviews of these people to see the right job fit into another role, right? And finally, feedback. Okay, so feedback into of the employees, you can gather from the previous roles, and this can be really, really good. Okay, now external, what are some of the ways you can do internal recruitment? One is transfers. Transfers involves shifting of persons from one job to another job. Okay, these do not involve any change in rank, responsibility, or prestige. The numbers of person do not increase with transfers. Okay, so you could be just transferred from one department to another, but having a similar kind of role. Can you think of any example of a transfer which still continues doing the same thing in another department? And any other role which is not suitable to transfer, then it is a promotion, or it is a completely different role. Okay, so maybe transfer is not applicable to roles like accountants. Okay, let's say Reliance Industries, it is a conglomerate, right? So in from oil and gas as an industry, if you transfer someone into let's say retail sector, normally that doesn't happen. But if you want to do it, then you can do it for which roles? You can do it for accountants, you can do it for roles that are generic roles, right? Like maintenance, like storekeeping, that you can do. But you can't do engineers. No, you can't have oil and gas engineers moved into another role. So transfer also, you might have want to see which roles are transferable, which are not transferable. Okay, so there are other types of transfers. You can take a look at. Let's understand how it works. Okay, example would be better. Let's take an example to understand how it works. Assume, someone please read this. Ashish, you want to read this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, please go ahead, read this example.
Okay. Assume there is a finance company called ABC Limited having two branches, branch A and branch B. And an employee from branch A resigned from his job responsibilities. Hence, this position has to be filled for the continuation of the project in branch A. In this scenario, instead of searching or sourcing new candidates, which is time consuming and expensive, there is a possibility of shifting an employee from branch B to branch A, depending upon the project requirements and the capabilities of that respective employee. This is internal shifting of an employee from one branch to another branch is called as transfer.
Okay, right. So you can see here when the reason why we are hiring is not always a planned approach, right? Sometimes you can have urgent on an urgent basis when one leaves the company. Okay, on some urgency basis, if that project is has a dire need of someone, you might want to transfer an employee from some other department into this department, because sometimes for searching and sourcing new candidate it takes, right? So in that case transfer can really happen. Okay, yes, Ashish, go ahead reading this.
Sure, ma'am. Promotions. Promotions refer to shifting of persons to positions carrying better prestige, higher responsibilities, and more pay. The higher positions falling vacant may be filled up from within the organization. A promotion does not increase the number of persons in the organization. A person going get a higher position will vacate his present position. Promotion will motivate employees to improve their performance so that they can also get promotion.
Okay, so if there is a promotion happening in your company, how does that increase work for the recruitment team?
No, not so much, ma'am.
If people are getting promoted in the organization, what kind of activities the recruitment team has to do?
Ma'am, first of all, the place should be filled by the recruitment team, because ma'am, when someone promoted, so their place is empty, so we have to place a person on that place. And ma'am,
Yes,
yes,
go
ma'am.
ahead. Yeah, so promotion, yes, so the after effect of a promotion is always that you might have to fill up that vacancy, right? But normally, because a promotion is a planned recruitment way of recruitment, you will have ample of time to hire a new position. Whereas in the previous case we saw, we did not have it. It's an urgent position. You needed to fill up this position urgently, right? And therefore transfer was more appropriate. But for promotion, maybe a planned approach where you are looking at the next level, and maybe the subordinate, the existing person is more appropriate for promotion. He has all the skill set and potential to do so, and therefore the hiring manager comes to you and says he could be promoted. The directors are also saying that he could be promoted, but the promotion doesn't happen. Like today you tell the recruitment team that someone is getting promoted and tomorrow is promoted. It doesn't happen that way. It happens that you are informed, and therefore you should start looking for a new candidate in that place. If that place requires replacement, okay, so you might want to first ascertain whether that person, whoever is promoted, is there a gap in the next position? Is there a replacement required? If yes, nobody is there to do those activities, then that position has to be filled in, and you start your normal recruitment process of filling up the requisition form first, right? Okay. Right. So horizontal promotion might be promoting from one department to another department, or just having a different skill set for looking at a vertical promotion later. So, for example, you are a senior engineer and you are asked to for a job rotation in another production line or department, because you have to get understanding of different production units before you become a production manager, or you become a director or whatever, right? So you're rotated in different things. So that is a kind of a horizontal, where it's kind of a promotion. You're working on a lesser technical area into a more technical area, or a different production, right? Right. So types of employee promotion, I think you can do it on your own. Okay. So benefits of employee promotion. I think I will stop here and cover this in the next class, because I think it's quite a lot for you to take in one day. We've done quite a lot. Any questions that you have before we wind up?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay, but have you